Only hope that things get better. And still on matters, Labour, COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli has become the face of COTU and the Labour movement for more than 2 decades. Just last month, he was re-elected unopposed for another 5-year term. Just what drives him and what makes him tick among Kenyan workers? Patrick Amimo looks at this ahead of Saturday's celebrations.
On 9th April 2021, at the Tom Mboya Labour College, Kisumu, Francis Atwoli was re-elected for another 5-year term.
People say, oh, Atwoli has overstayed in Labour movement. Indeed, I have. But you see, since I was first elected 2001, I have never had an opponent. Never, even one. Even the current elections, which we concluded on 9th of April.
Atwoli shared secrets of his unrivaled success at the top.
I have sold myself to my colleagues that I can work hard for them. I can do everything for them they want me to do. And when I want to leave or when they think of replacing me, then they say, who will work like Francis Atwoli?
Atwoli took us back history lane on the push for trade unions.
So the first ordinance in Kenya on trade union movement was put in place in 1937. And 3 years later, in 1940, Mark Singh formed the late Mark Singh formed the Asian Railway Workers Union. Mboya reshaped it because Mboya became the modern Secretary General of Labour Movement, the Kenya Federation of Labour.
In the 1940s, Chege Kabashia, a former Labour officer come trade unionist, called the first workers' strike.
Took about almost a month, and 4 people died.
He tells us how the late Tom Mboya, Jack Ochino and late Clement Lubembe inspired him to join trade unionism.
So I listened to Tom very carefully, what he had done through Labour movement and where Kenya was going to be. And I got interested. I said, and he was one of the eloquent speakers at that particular meeting. When I went home during my holidays, I said, I want to do what the late Tom Mboya did. I told my mom. He said, I have heard of Mboya. That, will you be able to? I said, I will do it.
Between 1971 to 1986, Atwoli served as branch secretary, Union of Post and Telecommunications Employees. Between 1986 to 1994, Atwoli served as the director of COTU.
In 1994, I took over Kenya Plantation and Agricultural Workers Union, a union I still lead up to now. It was a moribund. It was a dead thing. Now it enjoys more than 600,000 membership.
Atwoli boasts of his achievements in the labour movement in Kenya. They include Matters membership.
I took over COTU. We had paltry membership of 300,000. Now we have 4 million members in that organization. If you bring them in the trade union movement, you don't service them, they will go away.
Some critics argue Atwoli is now too close to government at the expense of championing workers' rights. He dismisses the critics.
It is us who started BBI. It is a child of labour movement. Under fear that it is us who are recipients of the problems. It is us who are in these cities. When there are problems, it is us. I must know after Uhuru who is going to govern us, under what constitution. So he said, let us address the issue of governance. Governance in Kenya is the problem.
Atwoli holds top elective positions in the labour movement at both continental and global level, including the International Labour Organization.
I'm the president with an office also. In Geneva, I have 2 offices, Brussels, 1 office. Coordinating Africa and Asia, I have an office in New Delhi. And for Africa, I have an office in Accra, Ghana. And for the Eastern Africa, I have an office in Khartoum. And I manage these things very well. Sometimes when you people see me doing all this, you say, oh, Atwoli, what is this, and so on. These positions empowers me to speak for Africa.
Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
Indeed. Now, over 150 families evicted from Ndunguni area